Pleasure you could join us. I am Pious Kojo Backah. Now, the first tranche of the IMF cash has finally hit the Bank of Ghana's account. Joy Business understands that the transfers came in this late afternoon. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, in a joint press conference, had explained where the funds will be directed to support the economy.
We are running a budget deficit. We are also agreeing for zero financing for that. So to continue to support the programs that we have is where the $600 million will be deployed. I think going forward, the issue of efficiency of government and efficiency of services to the people are going to be key, and therefore finding ways of ensuring that we're efficient in our deployment that we have. So that's going to be key. I think for all of us in Ghana to really internalize that there's a new era with regards to our own behavior, re-engineering, and the type of imports that we have, moving towards food security, so the importation of rice and poultry and tomatoes, etc., are brought down, and we produce those ourselves. That really will signal a new way forward that will increase the resilience and sustainability of the program.
Well, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has ruled out using the IMF program approval to seek an immediate return to the capital market. There have been reports of government working to borrow from the international capital market to complement the $3 billion from the IMF to deal with the funding gap facing the economy. But Finance Minister insists that is not the situation on the ground.
The reason for this program is to bring us down to 55% debt to GDP ratio, and that program will hold. Really, in addition to the revenue measures that we saw in the budget and that are improving our GRA, that will give us the resources to move forward. Curtailing and managing our expenditures are going to be important. No, there's no rush to go back to the international capital markets. Our expectation is that in managing our expenditure and increasing our revenue, we'll have the resources to it. Working towards the capital market is important because we then get our ratings up and make the country more attractive for foreign investors, especially FDI. But rest assured that no one is rushing to the international capital markets at this juncture.
Well, the IMF is optimistic that Ghana's program approved by its board will help turn around the economy and deal with structural issues facing the economy. It follows concerns that the length of the program might not be enough to properly address current challenges facing the economy. But speaking at a joint press conference from Washington, D.C. in the USA, Mission Chief Stefan Rode disagrees. This program is not robust to deal with current challenges facing the economy.
On the external side, you have two components. You have the debt that is held by official bilateral creditors. The expectation, I believe, the goal, the objective of the Ghanaian authorities is to reach an understanding with official creditors, indeed by the time of the first review, on the specifics of the terms of the restructuring. And of course, you have the second component that has to do with the private sector external debt, and here I believe the authorities and their advisors are engaging with these commercial creditors, also with the goal of trying to advance the discussions rapidly. So that's for the timeline on the external debt restructuring. The first review of the program will be based on an assessment of the quantitative objectives under the program as of end June, and it will take a few months after that to make this assessment, with the goal of bringing the review to the board in November.
And now to one of our headline stories, and Ghana's total debt ending December 2022 reduced significantly. Well, Bank of Ghana's data showed that it dropped by more than 141 billion cedis. My colleague George Yafe has been going through the Bank of Ghana's data and joins me in studio with more. So George, what are we learning? What is the latest figure we have?
Well, when you go through the Bank of Ghana data, the last time that the Bank of Ghana released the data ended November 2022, it showed that the number was 575.7 billion Ghana cedis. That was for the figure in November. Now, ending December, if you go through the numbers, it showed that it now stands at 434.6 billion Ghana cedis. That represents 141.4 billion Ghana cedis reduction. And some might say that is quite interesting.
Yes, it's quite interesting, as you rightly mentioned. But what is contributing to that significant drop?
Well, you might want to make an intelligent guess, because we also understand that somewhere in November last year, there was an exchange rate effect that contributed to that quantum leap in the debt numbers. Now, don't forget that after that huge leap in the numbers somewhere in November, there was some marginal stability that we posted going into December last year. And that could be the reason why we've seen this 141 billion Ghana cedis reduction in the debt stock. And that, some might say, that could be the reason or the contribution to this reduction. This is just making some would say an intelligent guess, Pious.
And what are the debt to GDP numbers?
Interesting as well, Pious, because in November last year, we were looking at somewhere around 94.3%, which was getting close to 100%. Now it has dropped to somewhere around 71%. Now, some people might argue that previously, the World Bank and maybe other institutions wanted to look at if your threshold crosses the 70% mark, that is worrying for you, because some also want to focus mainly on the debt sustainability analysis. So it could mean that we are getting back to that threshold where our debts haven't gotten that bad, because maybe the economy has also expanded, and that could be affecting or impacting on that one. If you look at the economy, the value of the economy for the first quarter of this year, we are in the region of 876 billion Ghana cedis. And that could also be a factor why the debt-to-risk ratio has dropped that significantly.
I see. Thank you very much, George Yafe, with that numbers breaking it down for us here on the program. Let's move on to some other stories. And shareholders of EcoBank Transnational Incorporated have approved the board's proposal to pay 11 cents as dividend for last year. Well, this is coming after the bank witnessed some significant growth in its profit before tax for 2022. George Yafe has more from Lome, Togo.
Approval of the dividend and other resolutions tabled at the annual general meeting at the headquarters of EcoBank Group in Lome, Togo didn't come without any concerns from shareholders. This is because some of them thought that the bank could have done better in terms of the dividend that was proposed. Here is one of the shareholders coming from Nigeria.
We will not refuse to take 11.02 cents, but going forward, please, let us look at it properly. I don't know the dividend policy we are having. What can we pay out of the earning per shares? I do not know, because that will help shareholders to understand the decision you have taken by giving us 11 cents out of $1.63. I do not know. But for me, I think you are too conservative on that. We need dividend to eat, to exist.
But board chairman of EcoBank Transnational Incorporated, Alain Lekoshaw, maintained that looking at where the bank is coming from, it will be best to propose the 11 cents as dividend for last year.
What has actually been delivered, but also the kind of prudence that we need, in terms of, strengthening our balance sheet and having enough ammunition to be able to make the needed investment to take us where we want to be. But be assured, whether it's Nigeria or whether it's the group as a whole, it's very much the focus of the board and the management to take us where we should be and where we deserve to be. And I'm pretty sure all the discussion today will eventually highlight that objective.
Speaking in an interview with Joy Business after the annual general meeting, Chief Executive of the group, Jeremy Awari, talked about measures being implemented to ensure that this good run is sustained.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is that I think EcoBank has a very good foundation. You've heard the performance for 2022, which is why we're here. I've come in because I want to try and work with the team and lead this business into the next strategic horizon, which is, to become bigger, to grow, to deliver strong financial performance, and then more importantly also to make an impact across the continent, and solve some of the financial services problems that we are facing in only a way that a Pan-African bank can do. So we are working on our agenda around the things which we feel are an opportunity. There's a few core focus areas. We want to grow our existing business in corporate banking. We see some opportunities in the consumer and the commercial bank, which serves the SMEs. We've got a great platform of 35 countries across the continent. We can make real-time payments across the continent. We want to partner with tech companies like fintech companies to take them across the continent using our platform and using our rails. And then lastly, we want to really support Africa continental free trade, with a view of supporting that trade, supporting trade across each, African countries, and lifting the lives of Africans as we do so.
EcoBank Group also got shareholders to approve an exercise to raise about $500 million to service an old debt that was maturing. EcoBank Transnational Incorporated, the parent company of EcoBank Ghana, ended last year with some sterling financial performance after what some would describe as challenging results in 2020 and 2021. Deposits from customers in 2022 also saw some significant increase to reach over $20 billion. Profit before tax went up by 13% to hit $540 million. EcoBank Group believes that this is just the beginning in terms of the improved earnings.
Away from Togo, let's now go to Israel because they have invested a total of $140 million in various Ghanaian businesses in the last 5 years of its economic and trade engagement with Ghana. These deals involved over 450 Israeli companies and 2,000 Ghanaian companies and agencies. The Israeli ambassador to Ghana, Shomet Sofan, made the revelation during Israel's 75th independence anniversary reception held in Accra. There is more in this report.
The 75th independence anniversary also marks 65 years of the Ghana-Israel diplomatic relations. The two countries have over the years collaborated in economic and trade, technology and innovation, as well as agriculture. Addressing the gathering at the 75th Independence Day reception in Accra, Her Excellency the Israeli ambassador to Ghana, Shlomet Sofan, gave a breakdown on the numerous and successful cooperation between the two countries.
In the field of agriculture, fintech, education, innovation, health, cybersecurity, the list is long. Our economic and trade engagement keep growing exponentially. This year marks the 5th year of the Economic and Trade Mission operation in Ghana. Within 5 years, we have been able to hold over 100 events, which consist on B2B events, delegations coming and going, exhibitions, professional seminars, and more. It has yielded a record of over 140 million worth of business deals and investments between our two countries. These collaborations have opened new markets and opportunities for both Israeli and Ghanaian businesses.
Eastern Regional Minister said Kwame Champo, whose region hosts a vast number of projects initiated by Israel, spoke on behalf of the government of Ghana.
The strategic location of the headquarters of Africa Continental Free Trade Area, AFTA Secretariat, in Ghana offers many trade and investment opportunities. Therefore, wish to urge Israeli investors to partner with Ghanaian businesses take advantage of the continent's market of 1.3 billion people as part of efforts to further expand our bilateral trade, in addition to investing in government flagship initiatives such as the Planting for Food and Jobs, One District, One Factory, amongst others, for the mutual benefit of our two countries, in particular creating employment for Ghana's youth.
The two countries are optimistic the diplomatic ties between them would get better and stronger in the future. Tararama Group of Israel treated the guests to a night of spectacular musical performances.
Now, mushroom consumption has recently seen a decline, although the crop has been proven to provide vast nutritional benefits. Scientific evidence reveals mushrooms possess cancer-suppressing properties and anti-hypertensive properties due to its high exorbitant antioxidant component, but bad farming practices threaten their existence. In this week's episode of Food Chain, Emmanuel Bright Kweku sheds light on the neglected protein source, which is still lucrative to its growers and vendors.
Mama Janet is a mushroom seller at the Swane Market. Today, the bundles of mushrooms she normally ply along the busy market streets are missing.
Sometimes one I won't crunk it to a muno. Wamuna di Bama Toby. Tiano Pano, sorry now, be do now and take us on one and maybe
Traditionally, mushrooms are cultivated in rural areas and transported to the urban center for sale. But its scarcity over the years have seen commercialized mushroom farming fast gaining popularity in Ghana's cities. As a crop with high profit potential, the new gold mine is changing the lives of its growers and vendors. Francis Bwedi, a student of the Kwadaso College of Agriculture, has been growing mushrooms for the past 2 years, a business he started back in his village at Sishi, and currently his source of financing for his diploma education.
There are lots of items on the farm that you could have looked at, but why mushroom?
It's because that was what I met first. That was what, and it was something I wanted to do. One of my classmates' dad was cultivating mushrooms in the house, so each and every day we would go and buy it. I was like, it's very stressful. Why are you buying this? So I'll go to Agri College, class 5. So during BEC, I went to do Agri at the SHS, and I came here. When I came here, even the time I didn't decide to even buy the farm. I was like, when I come, the first thing I'll do is mushrooms. I had my capital from a friend's sister, whom I'm even living with right now. So I discussed everything with her, like, sister, this is what I want to do. I'm finding it difficult to pay my fees, and this the type of thing I want to do. So help me. So she sent me about 500 cedis, and I started buying the items from Kumasi. Then I transferred it over there. To start over there, and they were the one who gave me the room, everything that I need. The bagging is a part of the process, but you start by getting your sawdust. The sawdust, it has grades. You get the smooth one, as you can see over here.
After bagging the compact sawdust, they undergo a high temperature steam known as the sterilization stage.
This is where we do the sterilization, and the reason why we do sterilization is to kill all microorganisms or any harmful organisms in the bags or in the compost that will hinder the growth of the mushrooms. Okay. So after the sterilization, we bring it in here. This place can take about 2,000 bags. Then we make it cool down. Then we start doing the inoculation.
Despite the efforts put in by farmers with hopes of scaling up, mushrooms are not an alternative protein source for a chunk of the Ghanaian population.
I eat, but it's not something I fancy that much, you know. If I get it, fine. And even if being part of the dish, I can choose to ignore it. Yeah, as compared to natural meat, red meat, chicken, fish.
I don't like the taste. It doesn't have any taste, so I don't like it.
Research provides numerous nutritional benefits of mushrooms, including its cancer-suppressing properties and anti-hypertensive effects. Professor Felix Engman is with the Food Technology Department of the Kumasi Technical University.
Mushroom it has what we call phytochemicals. That is chemicals which are not nutrients but rather help in terms of health. And so we have antioxidants which fight tumors like cancers. Yeah, it also helps with brain health, so it helps to prevent the Alzheimer's disease. Again, they help with our immune system. It helps to boost the immune system. It helps also with the reduction of blood sugar level, so it is hypoglycemic in nature. And so we encourage people to consume those also who are hypertensive, because it helps in the reduction of reduces the sodium level in the blood.
Not only are they dying out of the market, but mushrooms as seasonal crops have become elusive in rural farms. Naturally sourced mushrooms are endangered by some farming practices, including the use of pesticides and the changing climate.
We know mushrooms, they grow in the wild, and the spores are delicate. And bushfires, the use of chemicals in farming had actually have a great impact. So picking them from the wild is not common nowadays. There are some few farmers, mushroom farmers around, but basically they produce for specific people. So you don't find them majorly on the market. Yeah, so it is quite seasonal. And even when it is in season, you don't really find them as we used to. So I think we should encourage more mushroom farming, knowing the health benefits as well as the nutritional benefits that we will obtain from the consumption of mushrooms.
It's exciting, the nutritional content and benefits of mushroom, right? When next you visit the market, do purchase yourself and the family some mushrooms. My name is Emmanuel Brightquick.
And full episode will be aired tomorrow at 6 p.m. on the Joy News channel. And that's it for the program. I am Pious Kojo Backah. Grateful serving you. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a lovely weekend.